Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Moose Henderson. Today we're going to look at one of the most beautiful anchorages in the Caribbean. What makes it a beautiful anchorage? Part of it is the crystal clear water, protection from the prevailing winds, and also the availability of the pizza pie boat right here on the water. So let's get started and take a look at Christmas Cove, located in St. Thomas at the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, most of us know where St. Thomas is located, down in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, whichever way you like to say that. At the end of this video, I'll put a description as to where St. Thomas is located, in case your geography is a little bit rusty, or you recently, say, just arrived from Mars. And this will give you an opportunity to see where it's at, see part of the island chain that it belongs to, and also to be able to see where Christmas Cove is located amongst the small islands of St. Thomas. Christmas Cove is located on the southeast side of St. Thomas, just to the south of Red Hook, which is the very easternmost point of St. Thomas Island. It is open cove to the south that is bordered on one side by Great St. James Island, and that goes around until you come to the channel that is bordered by the main island of St. Thomas. In my mind, the best way to enjoy Christmas Cove is without me doing a lot of talking. Just enjoy this scenery as it goes by. I took these videos near sunset in my dinghy and also from the deck of my boat, and I hope you enjoy them. Once we're completed with this visual tour of Christmas Cove, then we'll go ahead and introduce you to the pizza pie boat and so on. after a long day of getting a suntan, swimming in the water, enjoying the local wildlife, probably the last thing you want to do is cook. And one of the beautiful things about Christmas Cove is we have a restaurant on the water. This restaurant is known as the Pizza Pie Boat. And this boat is anchored right here in Christmas Cove, and it is available to come and order yourself a pizza or a drink or something of that nature, and to be able to enjoy your period of time on the water by having some great refreshments. This boat is a regular sailboat that has been gutted on the inside, and they have installed pizza ovens on the inside, and then the upper deck is made up into a bar type area to be able to prepare drinks. When you come to the Pizza Pie Boat, you basically either come to the back window and pick up your pizza, or you come and enjoy yourself on the inflatable floats that are out front. You don't actually go aboard the Pizza Pie Boat. There's anywhere from 2 to 5 people working on the Pizza Pie Boat, depending on how many people are needed for that particular day. And on occasion, if they have enough people working, they are able to deliver your pizza directly to your own boat without you even having to leave. And that would be really convenient if, say, you had a couple of kids and a husband and you all were trying to unwind after a long day on the water. The Pizza Pie Boat has 2 menus. On one side of the menu are the various food items that you can order, and the other side of the menu are the various specialty drinks that you can get. And then they also have a sort of menu for the items that you can get, like cups, banners, t-shirts, and so on like that. And it's just kind of a fun thing. You really enjoy being able to be part of the entire Christmas Cove experience. That's the basic content of our video for today, but don't click the next button immediately, as if you'd like to know where St. Thomas is located and the island chain that it's a part of, watch the rest of this video. I put it at the end so that I wouldn't be boring everybody who already knew all of this information for themselves. I thank you so much for joining us. If you would, please give us that old thumbs up icon, or that like-a-roo, as I like to call it. And we'll see you back here again very soon on Moose Henderson. Thank you so much for joining us and for watching our video. See you again soon. Goodbye. Now, let's see where St. Thomas is located. Okay, let's assume, like me, that you don't have a PhD in geography, and maybe you'd like to know where St. Thomas is located. Right off the coast of Florida, of course, is this island chain which arcs down to South America, basically Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and so on, all the way down until you get to Venezuela. The island chain from the Virgin Islands down to Trinidad is known as the Lesser Antilles. The area from the Virgin Islands to Guadeloupe is known as the Leeward Islands, or if you prefer, the Leeward Islands. And then from Dominica down to Trinidad is known as the Windward Islands. And the terms Leeward and Windward come from the age of the square rigging ships that used to sail from the United Kingdom and come to this area. Okay, now let's take a look at the actual Virgin Islands. Of course, there's 2 different sets of Virgin Islands. There's the U.S. Virgin Islands, and there's the British Virgin Islands, also known as BVI. We're going to be looking at the U.S. Virgin Islands today, and the U.S. Virgin Islands consist of 3 larger islands: St. Thomas, St. John's, and St. Croix. And we're looking basically at St. Thomas today. So this map shows the island of St. Thomas and a couple of the key features. To the left-hand side of this map, you see it's labeled Fortuna, and that is the area where the airport is located. And some of you may have flown into St. Thomas by airline. If you came by cruise ship, you most likely landed in the area in the middle, south, and that is known as Charlotte Amalie, the largest city on St. Thomas. And that open bay is known as Grand Haven. And that's where you'll see a lot of sailboats, and it's also where the cruise ships come and land. Now, the east side of the island, you see it says Anna's Retreat. The far eastern side is known as Red Hook. And then as you go around Red Hook to the south side, you see a couple of islands off near the bottom right-hand corner of this image. These two islands are known as Great St. James and Little St. James. Great St. James and Little St. James was once owned by the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. After he committed suicide, the island was sold, and now the two islands are owned by Stephen Deckoff. They are private islands, and so technically you're not allowed to go on them. I do occasionally see people land their Hobie cats and spend a few minutes on the island, primarily Great St. James. There are some developments on Little St. James, and if you try to land on Little St. James, they will kindly, well, sometimes not so kindly, tell you to leave. So the island of Great St. James makes up what is known as Christmas Cove. If you look at the island of Great St. James, and over here on the western side, you have this hook coming around. That area provides a wind shadow from some of the prevailing winds, and it also provides a beautiful cove known as Christmas Cove.